Hello there and welcome back to Forza Top Gear Laps Rivals, the spin-off where we pit a couple of cars with common ground and close PIs against each other to see which one comes out on top. Today we are taking a look at two Audi Sport Saloons with two different stories. One was the top dog of its day, the other a base model. But with 12 years between them, can the runt of the litter topple the top dog? Firstly, the Audi Rs6. The Audi Rs6 can be considered a landmark car in the history of Audi. It was the first RS car to reach America, and the first Audi saloon car to gain the RS badge. Back then the car had to be very special indeed to gain such a badge, so what makes the Rs6 tick? Well, when seeing it for the first time it's hard to tell, but look closer and you'll see widened arches making the car more muscular, the RS trademark silver mirrors, and the 18-inch alloy wheels, but beyond that there's not much to tip you off that this is something special, but I assure you it is. The heart of the Rs6 is a 4.2 litre twin turbocharged 40-valve V8 engine made in collaboration with Cosworth, a much more impressive engine than those found in the competition at the time. This is mated to a 5-speed Tiptronic automatic gearbox and of course puts power to all four wheels. To keep it on the road, the Rs6 features electronically controlled differentials, ESP and dynamic dampers. A car this big needs to stop, and 365mm vented discs and Brembo 8-piston calipers do that job very well. Put all this together and you have a car that surely gave the competition of the time many sleepless nights. The Rs6 also went racing in the GT World Challenge America to achieve 2 manufacturer's titles and a driver's title. The Rs6 has become a staple of Audi's lineup, although despite glowing reviews the Rs6 would not return to America until 2020 with the all-new Audi Rs6 Avant. Next up, the Audi S3 Sedan, the baby in the Audi Sport Saloon range. The S3 was launched alongside the regular 3rd generation A3 in 2013, with the option of sedan, sportback, hatchback and soft-top versions for Europe. Meanwhile, America will receive the S3 as sedan only in 2015, not necessarily a bad thing, as the small Audi wears this boot well. The Audi S3 is powered by a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder, which while it isn't quite as exciting and doesn't sound nearly as good as the 5-cylinder available in the RS3, it still provides rather excellent performance considering its size. It's mated to a 6-speed dual-clutch automatic, later upgraded to a 7-speed. This gearbox is more efficient and faster than the equivalent manual available in Europe. As you'd expect, the S3 utilises Audi's Quattro 4-wheel drive system, allowing the S3 to have excellent traction, and unlike Audi's older and bigger performance cars, the S3 is said to offer relatively neutral handling and minimal understeer, allowing for more confidence and fun than previous fast Audis. While it may be the bottom of Audi's US sport range, it's unquestionably a high point of their lineup. So there you have it, two fast Audis that broke into the North American market. But can a modern day Audi S3 really beat the acclaimed Rs6? Let's find out. First up then we have the older car, the 2003 Audi Rs6, 450 horsepower, 415 foot-pound torque, 4,024 pounds of weight. This is the most powerful car here today, the torquiest car here today, and the heaviest car here today, all by a fair old margin. This is our big old brute for the day. This generation of Audi Rs6 I'm sort of in a couple of different minds about. I love the engine in this car, it sounds terrific, I love all of the technology in it, it's built by Cosworth partly, brilliant. The front end of this car looks quite good, the rear end in my opinion looks absolutely abysmal. This generation A6 just had an atrocious rear end. It's a little bit better on the Rs6, but even still not by much. So I'd probably go for the Avant Estate version, which unfortunately we don't have in Forza, and also that wasn't sold in North America. What I certainly wouldn't do though is buy one of these cars today because they are horrifically unreliable. Anyways, as far as this car actually goes to drive, it is pretty darn good. It's a lot better than you'd expect. There is a fair amount of weight behind this. You cannot escape the fact that this is a 4,000 car. There is also a fair amount of understeer. Fortunately, some of that sort of electronically controlled differentials and the dampers and stuff do some work, and it's nowhere near as bad as you'd expect. But yeah, if you don't like understeer, I'd probably avoid this car, but for the rest of us, give it a go. It's a little bit heavy, but definitely usable and quite a fairly good car to drive. Next up, the 2015 Audi S3 Sedan, 300 horsepower, 280 foot-pounds torque, 3,153 pounds of weight. So this thing is 150 horsepower down. On the Audi Rs6 it's a fair amount of torque down, but it does weigh almost 900 pounds less, which is pretty crucial, especially at a track like Top Gear. It helps to be pretty quick around the corners. I do like this generation of Audi S3. I think it looks absolutely brilliant as a saloon, probably one of the better looking Audis in their current lineup, although that being said, all Audis do kind of look the same these days. There's not really that many ugly Audis because they all look the same. It's not quite an Aston Martin level where it's fine because every single one of their cars is beautiful, but yeah, I mean, you know, you can't really go wrong with design if you make all your cars look similar and they look good out the box, which is sort of what Audi is doing. But yeah, I'd definitely go with the Saloon if I was buying an A3, S3/RS3, although these days with the facelift they look a little bit weirder. As far as it goes to drive, once again, it's a really good car this. It is better driving than the Rs6, that has to be said. It's surprisingly sharp in its handling. It doesn't understeer nowhere near as much you'd expect it to. It's actually a really sharp car. It probably loses out slightly in the straight line sections to the Rs6, but through the corners, yeah, this is a much better car than you'd expect, and I do recommend checking this out if you are usually opposed to Audi's understeer. On to the times then, and the Audi S3 Sedan is the quicker car of today, going to 224th place with 123.346. It's not that far off of an old Audi RS4 Avant, which was one of the very first RS cars. Yeah, it does pretty well. Not too far off a BMW M5 of similar vintage as well, so a really good shout out to that car. In 234th place, not that far behind, is the Audi Rs6 with a 124.667, thus beat out a modern day Jaguar XES, a Pontiac G8 GXP, so it certainly doesn't do too badly. However, yeah, the smaller Audi S3 does indeed topple the Audi Rs6. When it comes to deciding between these cars today, then I've got to be honest, my vote would go towards the Audi S3. In my opinion, it looks better, it drives a hell of a lot better. It's just a really nice car, the Audi S3. Not one that you see around particularly often, especially in saloon form. No one really buys them in saloon form. They sort of prefer the hatchbacks and stuff like that to go against cars like the Golf R. But yeah, I really like the Audi S3, I can't really recommend it enough. The Rs6 though is still a really good car, it definitely drives better than you'd expect, but yeah, out of the two today, the Audi S3 would be my choice. So what would be your choice out of these two? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time on Forza Top Gear Laps for the main episode, you're going to enjoy some Italian cars, and next time on Rivals, we're going to be taking a look at two super fast V12 GT cars, so join us for that. Until then, farewell.
Knowing just where my hopes and dreams are going, I'll only lay up in a wall that you are not part of. Eyes on the slit of your father with love.